Hey guys, welcome back to today's podcast, and we're going to be talking about the Columbian Exchange and whatnot.
Yeah, I feel like that was pretty impactful to our history, especially with America because of Columbus.
Yeah, the exchange was pretty harsh, and there was a lot of bad done during the exchange.
Oh yeah, huh? Like the slave trades and all that stuff.
Yeah, there was millions of people who were traded during the slave trade. Okay, slavery had, or the trading of people had already existed in Africa even before the exchange.
Really? How did it start then?
Well, it only started after the Portuguese arrived in America. But the Portuguese weren't the only ones to engage in the slave trade. The British colonies were they were they really used to enslave people on their plantations.
Oh my god, really? Was there like any other parts of like the slave trade and stuff?
Well, the biggest part was the triangular trade, and it included Africa, the Caribbean colonies, North America, and Europe. Well, yeah. There was a leg in the triangular trade called the Middle Passage. It was during the Middle Passage where the Africans were transported in chains to the American colonies. There was over 5 million enslaved people in Brazil and 4.5 in the Caribbean. And at least 2 million Africans, 10 to 15%, died during the infamous Middle Passage.
Wow. Were those the only people being transported like during the exchange?
No, there was also immigrants. People from Europe and all over wanted to see the new world and live there.
Oh, like what's the main? Why did they move? Like why?
Well, the three main motives for why they moved were God, gold, and glory. And almost 2.6 million Europeans immigrated to Americas.
Wow.
So there was just under 50% of the people who were moving to the New World were British, and almost 40 were Spaniards or Portuguese, and 6% were German or Swiss, and the other 5% were French.
Wow. Well, actually, there is a lot more being traded from the old to the new and the new to the old, right? So,
Like what?
well, like animals. Like, a lot of different animals were, like, being brought in and out, right? Like, for example, horses and dogs were brought from the old world into the new world more as, like guides for hunting, kind of.
Like domesticated animals?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, horses were also, like, brought for, like
Transportation.
yeah, like transportation, like travel and stuff like that. Anyways, and then also there was like stuff like pigs, cattle, and chickens that were mostly brought for like their meat.
Mm-hmm.
Also, cows were brought as a new way, like source of milk too. That was kind of interesting.
Well, what did they use for milk before?
Well, I'm guessing like
I don't want to know, actually.
yeah. I mean, if you think about it, yeah. But no, and then, well, actually, like pigs though, like yeah, they were good for meat and everything, but they also brought like a lot of diseases.
Diseases?
Yeah, because well, like pigs, they're like very, I guess you could say like filthy, nasty. They just carry a lot of diseases.
I'm
It's
still
also
gonna eat bacon though.
yeah, it's also the same with like chickens though, because they actually brought this thing called malaria. You know, chickens were like a great source of food because chicken and the egg too. It's more sources of food. But yeah, that was the only sucky part that they brought that. And then also, oh my god, did you know that like the people? Okay, so you know how they drank tea, right? Okay, well, since they didn't have like sugars or anything over there in the old world, they would bring. I don't know if you would say they brought bees specifically, but they would bring honey and stuff because they used it as a sweetener for their tea. So whenever they brought honey into the new world, it really helped with like the pollination because that's what bees are good for. So it helped with the plants and all of that stuff too.
What about the New World to the Old World?
Oh, like what they brought from the, like, what they got from the New World, like the new things?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, like, they had turkeys, you know? Like, the New World had turkeys, and actually, like, that was one of the first domesticated animals from the New World to be brought back.
That's what they ate on Thanksgiving, right? After Columbus landed.
Well, yeah, I guess. And, I mean, they say that the travelers actually really liked the meat, and that's why they wanted to bring it back. And then also they brought llamas too, because they used it for like wool and meat, you know. But the only thing is they couldn't be used for transportation for some reason, or farming. So it was mostly just for like wool and meat.
I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, since we're on the topic of diseases earlier with the pigs and stuff, it reminded me that a lot of diseases were spread from the Old World to the New World from the people that were coming over, the Europeans.
Really? Like, what type of diseases?
Well, they brought in diseases like typhoid, pneumonia, chickenpox, all that stuff.
And how come the Europeans, like, didn't have any effects to this? Or didn't suffer the effects, sorry.
Well, even though they did get a bit of diseases, the Europeans were practically immune to all of the diseases that they were given to the Native Americans because they had traveled a lot. They were explorers. And so it was kind of common sense that they would
build immune to it.
Yeah.
Okay, well then how come the Native Americans, how come they caught the diseases easily?
Well, because they had never traveled and they weren't used to all of these things that the Europeans were bringing over. Also, they lacked their domesticated animals, which hampered their development to labor saving technologies.
All right, tying back to like the whole entire trading aspect of the exchange, they also traded like crops. Crops was a pretty big thing about it. Like, in the New World, they all got stuff like maize, which is corn, chiles, tobacco, white and sweet potatoes, peanuts, tomatoes, papaya, pineapples, squash, pumpkins, and avocados. And then from the Old World, they brought in things like onions, lettuce, barley, rice, oats, turnips, olives, pears, peaches, citrus fruits, sugar cane, and wheat.
And then, like, I know you're talking about like the Old to the New World, but like, what specific places? Like, who traded where and all
like
that?
All of the trading people.
Yeah.
All right. Well, like I said, like, it's a whole entire trade, right? So there's more people involved. Like, for example, there's Asia, and they didn't introduce like a lot of new things, but they introduced like a lot of new varieties of their things, if you know what I mean. Like maize, potatoes, and chili peppers. Sorry, they introduced like new versions of those, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And then also there was Africa. The most like significant thing that they got from Africa was rice, like specifically African rice, like a bunch of things, right? And it was like crucial. That rice was crucial for the survival of like enslaved populations, and it became like the staple in some regions. And then there was the Afro Eurasia, is that how you say it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, they exchanged stuff like
America's to Afro Eurasia or the other way around?
No, America's to Afro Eurasia.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. But like I said before, the maize, corn, potatoes, and stuff like that. Basically,
all the same.
Basically, all the same stuff that that they got from the New World, and they brought it.
Yeah, I feel like this whole exchange thing is just like it's a lot in its own way, but I feel like a group of people who got really hit hard by it were the Native Americans, because I feel like they had to change almost everything about their culture due to syncretism.
What's syncretism?
Syncretism is basically the amalgamation or attempted amalgamation of different religions, cultures, or school of thought, which is the definition from Google, by the way, guys.
So, syncretism is basically like, is it what does it mean? Like it's combining religion, or
yeah, it's basically combining like cultures,
yeah,
aspects like that. And I feel like a good example of that would be how the colonizers in the New World were trying to force their religions and stuff on the Native Americans and forcing them to lose their actual like cultures that they had previously and traditionally,
like their native culture and belief and all that stuff.
Yeah.
What religion was forced on them?
Christianity. Yeah, European Christianity was very enforced, especially in the New World, which is basically the religion our country was founded on.
Well, yeah. So does that mean that like the native people did they have to get rid of their beliefs like completely, or could they still practice it?
No, even though they resisted the combinations or the European forces, the Europeans were still multiplying by size and populations, and also they were giving their diseases to the Native Americans, which were lessening their numbers. Another example of syncretism was probably the diversification that all the countries like Europe, Africa, Asia, and the New World and the North Americans they had, because they were trading all of these goods and stuff that they had to have shared their cultures.
Right.
Yeah.
Alright, so that pretty much wraps up the discussion part, I would think, right? We covered basically almost.
Yeah, we talked a lot.
Oh yeah. Alright. I mean, the podcast isn't over yet because we actually have two special guests.
Woohoo!
We have two special guests coming in to, well, how would you say this? Like,
to elaborate more.
Yeah,
because like, they actually experienced it.
Oh, they experienced it firsthand, so we're getting their viewpoint.
We're getting primary sources.
Yeah. Alright, so we have one guest from the old world that we have with us here today.
And one guest from the New World.
Yes, and we will both be interviewing them separately to both get their viewpoints and make sure we get the record straight.
So, everyone, welcome Kelly and Cheryl from the Old World and New World. Hey, my name is Cheryl from Europe. I'm from the Old World, and my perspective on the Columbian Exchange is that I think it's a very beneficial thing because, you know, my fellow European people are going and exploring these new lands and all that. And also, we're getting new resources. We have things like turkeys and all that now.
Right. Okay, so do you think you can narrow it down for us into pros and cons of this exchange?
Well, the pros would be that we're getting new resources, you know, we're conquering new land, our Europe is getting bigger because of it, and also we're getting diversified with all the other countries, which we hadn't had before.
So it's bringing in new people and new things, new experiences all over.
Yeah, it's like peaceful. And then the cons would be that, you know, they're mistreating people like slaves and stuff. And also, we're losing population here in the old world because everyone's going to the new world.
Right, okay. And is there any specific way that this whole entire exchange specifically changed your personal life?
It impacts my personal life because, you know, we don't have anything we do have stuff that we used to have back in the past, but now we have new technologies and stuff that are coming from all over the world, like countries as like Asia, and we got the Americas.
Right. So just new.
It's
new
good
things.
for the economy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. And how do you think it impacts the whole entire world?
Well, everyone's coming together and everyone's sharing their cultures and their items, their crops, everything, and I think it benefits the entire world. So, I think the Columbian Exchange impacted the world because there's it connected all of our countries and stuff through trade and other networks, and now we're all connected and diversified. There's a lot of new cultures and stuff that we get to experience that my kids get to grow up with. I think it impacted me specifically another reason because we got crops like potatoes now that have a lot of calories, so we're not as frail, and we have good meals now and stuff.
Getting stronger, all that.
Yeah, we're getting way stronger.
Does that mean that you have more choices to cook from?
Yeah, because back then we didn't have that much food, but now with all the other places that are giving us food and trading with us, we have better dinners here at home. I know we have dinners at my house.
Do you think all this new food is all better than what you had before?
It's way better.
I bet that's
Yeah.
a fun experience for you to try new things.
Yeah. Thank y'all for having me on y'all show.
Thank you so much for coming and telling us about your experience. And now we're gonna move on to our next guest.
Okay, guys, and today I will be interviewing Kelly, who is from the New World. She is Native American. Kelly, what is your perspective on the Columbian Exchange?
Okay, my perspective on the Columbian Exchange, right? I think it's a great idea, right? Because it's tying in everybody, bringing everyone together, also introducing new things, some good things, some bad things, also.
Yeah. Okay, so elaborating on all of that, what would you say the pros and cons are of the Columbian Exchange?
So I think some pros are that like I said before, we're experiencing new things. We're getting to see new, like new crops, for example, crops and animals. Like that's awesome. We have more food sources and everything. However, there are a lot of cons, I think, for my side of it, just because also like whenever they're exchanging other things, they're also bringing in stuff like diseases that's harmful for my people, you know? Like my people, we don't have the right technology or even immune system in our bodies to help defend ourselves from the diseases. So it's very easy for us to get really sick and even pass away from all of these diseases.
I understand. And how has it changed your life personally?
Personally, it's changed my life. Like how I said with the cons part of it, like the diseases and all that. I've seen close relatives, close people that I have towards to me, like get sick from these diseases, and some of them, like I said, pass away. So this is how it impacts me, like personally, you know, like just me.
And did they force their cultures on you, or?
Oh yeah, they did. They did force their cultures on us, and it's very difficult for us because obviously we're gonna want to stick with our
religion,
like our original beliefs and all that.
Yeah.
But they come in and they force us to do all these things. They want us to go along with their religion, which is Christianity, right? But we already have our own religion that we want to stay like faithful to, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not like we can protest against it, because I'm pretty sure they're gonna punish us greatly for that.
And how do you think it impacts the world?
From a worldwide like view, right? Like, it's a great idea. It's a great thing because it's introducing new things to new, like it's bringing people closer together in a way. It's introducing new things, and people get to share their things, like cultures and whatnot.
Like
but
crops and goods and
yeah,
stuff.
like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, also, it can also be a bad thing for the world, I think, because it could cause cultures to be like forgotten, because like how I was talking about with the Christianity thing, it's erasing our original cultures, and that could be a very dangerous thing if you think about it.
Okay. Well, that's all for today. Thank you, Kelly, for being on our show, and Cheryl.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Okay, guys, that's all for today for our podcast. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Columbian Exchange, and we hope to see you next time. Bye.